Thank you, Nick. Okay, my name's Pablo. Hello. And I'm a chocoholic. Am I at the right meeting? Is anybody with me on that? Yes? Yes, good. So, a chocolate addiction is quite easy to fulfill if you can get hold of lots of chocolate, which luckily I can because I've started my own chocolate company. Now, it was a bit of an accident, but I'm here now, and I'm flying the flag for the chocolate revolution. That's all about less is more, making chocolate from the bean and not from lots of added ingredients like, palm oil and vegetable fat and lard maybe. And getting the taste and the texture just right so that you can just lose yourself in that magical moment of chocolateness. Are you with me still? Yeah? Okay, all right. So I really should be handing it round now, but I just didn't bring enough to fulfill such a large audience. Okay, so the real chocolate that I'm talking about, it comes from South America, where a lot of good stuff comes from. There's a lot of beans that come from West Africa, which produce a lot of bulk, a lot of volume, but maybe not such a fine flavour. So it's all about flavour. When you're addicted to something as pure as chocolate, you've really got to get the nicest flavour that you can. So I don't want to bang on about sweetness, I just want to bang on about loveliness. Obviously, you can tell this is very unrehearsed and not really a rant, more like a sales pitch, but yeah, we'll carry on. Okay, so my beans come from South America. They come from this indigenous tribe who've grown cacao around them for thousands of years, and I get these beans here to Wales, and I start grinding them with some coconut sugar, which is nice and low in GI. It's quite healthy as sugars go. And I'd like to keep it as dark as possible, so high percentages. This chocolate isn't chocolate that you can wolf down. This is chocolate that you have a little bit of, and it gives you a kick. You know you've had it. The messages get through to the brain. You've had enough. You're nourished inside. You're not craving a whole bar, which is great. The beans I use are called the abuelos, which literally translates as the grandfather, because they've been there for thousands of years. There's 3 types of cacao varieties. There's a Criollo, which is essentially native to the area it grows in, and that's the smallest sort of part of the pyramid. Then there's Trinitario and Forastero. So Forastero is the bulk, not very nice flavoured, but you get loads of it. Trinitario is a nice sort of hybrid of Criollo and Forastero. We're only worried about the really, really good stuff. Now, some people say, are you a chocolatier? Well, no. Chocolatiers, they got the fancy name. They got the name, the nice, elaborate. They can make all the nice fancy stuff. They can make it look good. Essentially, I'm a chocolate maker. We're just keeping it raw. We're keeping it real. We're not messing about with it too much. I like to say minimally processed, but minimally processed is not a very snappy title. So, raw's good. But raw can also throw up a lot of alarm bells in some people's heads. They think raw meat, raw fish, raw eggs, salmonella, all that sort of stuff. It's not. There's nothing to worry about with chocolate. It's all right. It's all good. You can eat it. It's not going to kill you. In fact, it's going to make you into this amazing ranty being who just can't stop talking about it. Okay, and the time it takes to make good chocolate. That's another thing that people don't realise. It's so time consuming, and that's one thing that I'm sure we can all relate to. We're quite time poor. We want to claw back time all the time, more time. So you've got to crack the bean, you've got to winnow it, you've got to take off the shell, you've got to grind it, then you've got to temper it, and you've got to line up all the crystals and get it right. And there's so million variables that can go into that. One day it can be lovely, next day it can be horrendous, and then you've got to mould it into a bar, and then you've got to fridge it, and then you've got to wrap it and pack it and stamp it and wrap it and pack it and stamp it, and it's a long process, but it's a loving process. So, you can share this joy with me if you like over at the market hall on my stand later on. There won't be much left because I've promised it to so many people. Coconut sugar as well as a different sugar. There's so much bad press about sugar. Refined sugar. It is bad, but then there are good sugars. Coconut sugar is a great sugar. It's got a long sort of release. It's not a spiky sugar. And it's got a caramel flavour. It's great. So essentially, you take some really, really good ingredients, you can come up with a really good product. But if you can also cover a lot of crap with other processes. So if you had some sourdough and some brioche, two lovely different breads, and then you put them in a toaster and burnt them, they're both going to taste like burnt toast. So, but if you take some really nice beans and give them a little toast, and take some other beans and leave them raw, you've got two radically different tasting chocolates. So if that's a nice analogy, you can have that. I've also found that cacao and chocolate works well as a currency. So if anybody would like to swap anything for bars of chocolate, you're very welcome to come and see me. There's a hashtag Choc Swap, which I'd swap anything for chocolate, essentially. If I want it, and if you want it, then let's do some deals. I'm happy with that. And chocolate that takes this long to make should also take as long to taste. So it's all about enjoying chocolate slowly. There's no need to wolf it down. You can take a little bit, let it melt, take another little bit, let the flavors develop, get the full experience, and just really enjoy it. Become one with your chocolate. Get connected, and avoid all that mass-produced stuff. Stick to the artisans. That's where it is. Obviously, unless Donna's in the house where you want some donuts, this is the place to be. And find a flavour. Find a flavour that you like. Everybody's got their own tastes, their own taste buds. There's millions and millions of variations of chocolate makers. Please go out there, discover it. Don't just settle for the cheap bar on the shelf. Pay a little bit more for it. You'll reap the benefits. That's pretty much my message. Thank you very much.